Thank you for joining us today. If everyone is able, stand and have the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Thank you. Moving on to item 4, adoption of the agenda.
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item 5, public hearing regarding the proposed 22-23 budget. Mr. Livingston.
Right. I believe you need a motion to open, and then you'll have a motion to close.
I didn't even notice it was a public meeting. I'm
Yes.
just like, hey, let's move. All right, may we have a motion to open the public meeting, please?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm good now, please, Mr. Livingston.
So in front of you, board members, you should have a copy of they have a copy of the proposed budget?
Yes.
They do. So I think they do. Great. So in front of you, if we could just take a look at that front page.
It's a big one towards the back.
Front page, and just go to the far right, and it says total budgeted expenditures and aggregate school district budget limit. So the key in what I do for next year's budget is to determine the maximum amounts for our budget limit. And then once I have that in place, I prepare the budget to that maximum limit. So you see on the far right is the limit, budget limit for M&O line 1 went from 15.7 million current year to 17 million next year. And then that's the limit on the right. That's also the budgeted expenditures on the left, right beside it right there. Now, behind that are about 9 variables. One is how much we have carry forward from this year. 2 is how many students we have show up next year, because we don't know that quite yet. 3 then would be costs we have for water and energy efficiency projects. And 4 would be district assistance for capital. There's variables behind that, but this is what we have based on our projected student count going up. I think, Mr. Scholl, I think we said 40. 2218 was our ending 100th day count this year. For this year's factors, we budgeted 2260 next year. Based on
very conservative.
Based on some growth that we know is going to occur in the lower grades. That's the projection. We try to be as close as possible. So when we come back to you in September, we may have some numbers to stick in here for student count, but we know we have to run it till our 100th day, 25th of February of 23, before we know our final student count with our final budget. But as long as we're close as we limp along, districts do get behind a little bit if they aren't checking those student counts, students in the seats in August, September, October, November, December. By the end of October, we should have a pretty good idea of what our student count is, and then revise in December, and then final revision in May should catch us up. So that's where we are right now for our operating fund. Capital is good news. The budget for the current year, 1.8 million, and up about 700,000 to 2.6 million for next year. And again, some variables there. I'm just going through this sheet. But that's our factors. And I think it was 4 years ago, even up to 3 years ago, if the district owed us 1.1 million for our capital, they were paying us 300,000. So that's only recently been fully funded. So that's tremendous. And then there's one that's not on there, but if you turn about 3 pages in, you got front and back pages to this page that says classroom site fund. It's actually probably the 5th page in, and the number is 2.4 million, just right here, this budget. So yeah, it says classroom site fund at the top. You see that there? Okay. Last year, or the current year, I could say, that was about 1.8 million, and that's jumped to 2.4 million. The state is recognizing, 1,870,000 for the current year, 2022. The state is recognizing with the consistent healthy increase in sales tax revenues if they kick back that percentage for us in our teacher fund. This is completely for teachers, this classroom site fund. They don't call it 301 anymore. We just call it classroom site fund. So correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent, but I think this year, 21, 22, total pay was 9,000 a teacher full-time.
Each teacher received $9,000, correct?
Isn't that all the qualification?
Correct.
The next year it's set to go at 10 plus a potential bonus.
Correct. We'll go to the board in July for an additional $1,000. So it could be $11,000 next year going to teachers out of the classroom site.
So just a bit of real quick math, if we do 120 teachers, about like what we have, and each one's taking about 10,000 out, plus we have to have employer-related expenses, social security, retirement, that 120 teachers, 10,000 apiece, 1.2 million, plus other related expenses, about 1.5 million, yet our revenues are coming in at 1.8. So that's just really good. So until we completely change the plan, and we don't know how long these revenues can sustain that tremendous growth, right now it's $700 a student. Back in 2001, when this started, it was $272, and they didn't always get that put into the amount, into the kitty per student per year. So
And
it's really-
that $10,000 for each employee could change. Once we know for sure what's coming in and kind of look at the carry forward and everything else, once that's established. So we could always make a mid-year adjustment. But we would do whatever we could to not go down, but we could make an upward adjustment based on the revenues.
I think that's one thing we've discussed. If we might have a nice $500,000 or $600,000 cash balance, but if the fund goes down, we want to income average it as long as possible. So there's not a steep cliff that they go from 9,000 down to 7.
Yeah, we never want people's pay to go down. That's our goal.
And other than that, we could go through the federal and state grants, but the real impact is that the $3.5 million ESSER 2 grant, actually ESSER 3, COVID 3, was $3.5 million. We spent about $800,000 on that. We've got two and a half more years to go on it. So that's going to continue to go away. But now we've received 4 new COVID grants as well that are helping keep our federal, and they're all federally based, keep our federal funds at a steady level. So that's just, in a way, good news that's backfilling. So,
I do want to add that, I appreciate the work that Mr. Livingston has done, considering we had no budget. And so this morning, a budget was approved. So the numbers that are in here are basically just carrying over what we anticipated the minimum would be from one year to the next, which was a 2% increase to the base support level and no increase to the district additional assistance. And then a small increase that we estimated for the kiddos, the number of kids that we have. So I have some information for you on the budget that was passed this morning. So I think Mr. Livingston mentioned September, we'll be coming back to you at some point to revise the budget with the actual base support level, there's some Group B weight changes, there's some district additional assistance changes. So we got the 2% required inflation, which we knew about. That's $291,000. They added an additional 5.55% to the base support level. So that's going to be for a total of 7.55%. Now you might see somewhere 8.8% increase, but they took away what's called the teacher compensation, which was 1.25. So the net for us is going to be 7.55% total. So it's 291,000 plus another 808,000. We have, they're making a change to the Group B weights for our kiddos that are other health impaired, speech and language. That's going to be almost 300,000 for the district. We did lose a little bit of money because our teacher experience index went down, but that was a loss of 18,000. They are adding an additional Group B weight for socioeconomic status. I'm estimating that at about $100,000. So our M&O increase, after everything's said and done, in this budget should be about $1.5 million. Okay, we've already committed about 560,000 of that in the raises that have already been approved by the board. So that leaves a net of about $900,000 that will be coming back to you in July for additional staff increases. on
Above
exist-
John's figures here.
Above, yes, well, not all of it, because this did include the 2%. So that 291 was already in there.
Uh-huh.
It's the 5.5% that's not included in that. Right, right. And the changes to the groupie weight.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. There was also an increase to additional assistance, about $100,000 is what we should see there. So those are the kind of the and you should have in your email, you should have something from ASBA that kind of describes what it'll look something like this. This is what it looks like. It came out this afternoon. So, but it's from ASBA and it describes, it's the daily update that you've been getting about the budget. This is the last one because this is the final budget numbers that were approved. So they talked about that in there. So, this is what we're doing now is the formality of getting a budget to allow us to operate come July 1. These numbers are way low compared to what was approved by and so we'll be coming back to you in September with the more accurate numbers that will give us a more accurate budget. You have a quizzical look on your face, Mr. Fogel.
So just to be clear on what I think I heard you say, we'll be coming back in September to revisit the budget that we already passed based on the new numbers.
Correct. Okay. And we'll be coming to you in July for employee raises based on those numbers.
I did have an earlier question, if I could, for Mr. Livingston, for John. So right at the end of your presentation, there you mentioned the ESSER, 3.5 million. That 2 years, and that's got to be done. It's over, has to be spent. You then said, and there are, we just learned 4 additional grants
Yeah.
that we add then on top of the 3.5, or is part of the 3.5?
Addition, new funds.
So this is all just
Yep.
very new stuff coming?
Yep.
Okay.
One was an idea basic, 100,000. One was a preschool, and these are both COVID. Preschool was 8,000, idea basic was another 100. High cost child we've already got 46,000 on that. And then there's another, the 100th day. Remember that one?
Oh, because of the number of days that we were in session for 2021, we are getting some additional money. And how much was it?
I believe it's 270,000.
Yeah, 270,000.
Because we were in school.
Because we had kids in the buildings.
Oh, wow.
There are districts that were virtual, well,
All the way
all the way around, or didn't have the same number of days. It was 100 days, I think. But for us, it was less than that just because it was like 80 days because of the 40-week. But what we did, and this will be approved by you, is we are anticipating putting that money into a one-time bonus for employees. Every employee across the board would get the same amount for the work that they did to keep those kids in session.
Certified and classified.
Certified, classified, admin, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That was what we would propose to you, and then you guys would approve that.
And that should be kudos to us for making decisions to keep our kids in school. Sure.
When would
So-
you expect, I'm sorry, Mike, when would you expect the bonus to go into place?
We had talked about the kind of the late fall sometime, probably between fall break and Christmas.
That's also-
We like to
that's
do
what I was
things right
hoping to
before
hear.
Christmas, like around Thanksgiving, because that's, we do a classroom site fund payment at that time. And it just is a time when people seem to enjoy that extra little bump and have plans for it.
Good, that's what I was hoping to hear.
So I think I heard informally, 100,000, 100,000, 8,000, 270,000, that comes to about 500,000 of those 4. Okay.
That you could say were related, the 46,000 we've got already for high cost child it's been there before, but we haven't always claimed it. It's a sped issue. We send students to, you're not residential schools, you're just high.
It's called Ascend, which is a another school that is we bus kids to.
highly disabled students and then to generate a high cost footprint. And we've got that approved and funded. We've already got 46,000. I imagine that'll be closer to 80,000 when we're done. Yeah, plus the 270 for the 100-day, plus the ARP homeless and the ID basic. So
I have a quick question. What is the school plant fund?
school plant is what you have left once you sell assets.
Okay,
There's not a lot of dollars in there, but this doesn't really show cash. Like if I put a budget in there for 20,000, it gives us the authority to spend 20,000. The cash may be 9, cash may be 30, but it doesn't involve cash.
okay.
It just is the expense approval. So if I spent 200,000 out of there, I've run into a couple of districts that had to close and then sell school property, and usually they can sell it for a decent profit. And then that money goes in the plant. Well, then it's under scrutiny about what they used to pay and what they used to buy that with, to buy with that. So, but that's not your cash. It's just authority to spend.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Good question.
Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to our consent agenda. We need a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda.
Second,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving right along to our personnel report. Mr. Scholl.
All right. Just a quick update. This is about, we have a new teacher, which is always good. We have a change of registrar at the high school, and we have a new employee, and there's some overlap there, so that's nice to see. We have a couple driver substitutes, a couple custodian substitutes. Actually, we have one of each, and there's just, since they're working over 2 fiscal years, their rate changes. That's really what that is. We have an attendant secretary resignation, but we have, you see number 10 actually is replacing that. So that's real unhappy that we lost her, but we understand, and happy that we're able to find somebody else. And then the registrar's resignation, we have a purchasing coordinator, which I know Mr. Livingston is very excited that we found somebody. And then there are some timesheets, as always, for you guys to approve.
Any questions on today's personnel report?
No.
All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept today's personnel report.
I'll make a motion to accept today's personnel report.
All in favor?
Second, and yes.
Oh, seconded, yes. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The 3 o'clock's throwing me here a little bit, guys. All right, our next is business and finance. The first one is going to be the proposed.
I think there was
We
one.
have a superintendent's base salary for school year 22-23. We're just moving along without you.
If you recall, during the May board meeting, we met in executive session, and I requested that we put this off, hoping that the information that we got today, we would have had a week or so ago. It's for you guys to have a discussion on my increase, and I can be here just to answer any questions for you. In the motion, I did request that the motion include the ability to reconsider it in July, if there's anything that we got over the 2% increase to base support level.
Okay.
So basically, we'll be giving all the other staff an increase in July. I'm requesting that you guys reconsider my salary along with that. That's all.
Anyone want to start discussion on this? Anyone have discussion?
I don't think so. We really already went over this.
Yeah, we had already
Yeah.
basically said what we were going to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think we
I
were
think we
good.
hashed it out.
Yeah.
I'm content.
Who would like to make a motion?
Am I making a motion to pass your,
To approve.
You need
the
to
base
give a
salary?
number.
Oh, yes.
okay, hold on, because I'm lost right here.
Oh, no, I can't tell you how much I depend 10
Super,
on
oh,
the
here we go.
tabs.
Okay, me too, me too.
Sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
rushed getting that
Did you
done.
see me? I'm over here.
Ask Peter.
So there is not a number in the motion, so you
Oh,
guys
there's
have to, there is not, so you guys have to come up with the number based on the conversation.
Oh, great.
Now, what is the percentage we are giving the rest, all the other staff?
I have that for you.
The administrators.
I'll write it down, so you
Yeah.
just.
So, the certified is 4.4%, average, some are more, some were less. Classified was 7.7%, and administrators were 4%.
Okay, so when I do this, I'm gonna approve your,
So let's decide what amount we're
Oh,
going to
we're-
approve them.
oh, we didn't set them amount.
So we have certified at 4.4, classified at 7.7, and administrators at 4% even. In the past, we've always,
Some with administrators.
we've done it with administrators for the most part. I think maybe there's one time it was
Just so it
a
doesn't
little
go
bit-
askew.
Correct.
I think that it's fair to do 4%.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
percentage increase,
Yeah.
not a dollars increase.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
is- Are everybody's agreed with the 4%?
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
If, just so that we're clear, if the motion could include the reconsideration, just so that, you just maybe put, somehow put the 4% verbiage in there along with the rest of the motion.
Just the rest.
Okay, okay, so I'm gonna make a motion for the approval of a superintendent's base salary for 2022-2023 school year, allowing for reconsideration.
Put it in the
For
4%
right after
first.
salary.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
approval of superintendent's base salary of,
4%.
at 4% for the
Increase.
24% increase for the 2022-2023
We
school
don't want the
year.
lawyers to be upside down.
And you want me to stay for the rest of it? Okay. Allowing for reconsideration if the state budget allows for greater than 2% increase to BSL. All in favor?
Correct. Second.
And I still second it.
Thank you. All in
Whatever
favor?
she said.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so
Aye.
much.
Thank you all.
Of course.
Appreciate
Thank you
that.
for your hard work and dedication. We
And
appreciate that.
communication.
And communication. Thank you for all of that. All right, now we'll move on to business. So first item is the 22-23 proposed budget, Mr. Livingston.
So with a quick summary in the public hearing, I have no additional major indicators or factors to describe or present. We haven't closed this year. We have projected around 950,000 going forward from this year's budget unspent in M&O, and also some capacity, same with capital. Projected about 700,000 of capital going forward into next year. And those are variables that until we get all our bills paid this year, we won't really know exactly where we're at. But those are just variables we live with.
And that's something we already went over.
Yeah, it was all discussed within
So-
the
Yeah.
public hearing.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the FY 2022-2023 proposed budget for factors provided by ADAE School Finance Unit, factor base level amount, and student council result in further revisions to be required.
A second, please.
Well, since I took John on several meetings this morning, I will be very happy to second the motion.
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments? Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, item 8B is our contract with Pueblo Mechanical for HVAC installations at CVHS.
I can discuss that.
Please,
So.
I'll just keep looking at you.
So the situation is back at the, if I got this right, the May 9th meeting, I believe it was, we had 8 motions made. They were each for $3 million and they were each for a school. So on this hand, we had 4 from Progressive Roofing to do what School Facilities Board calls roofing rehabilitation. That's all penetrations in every roof in every school. That's after the current evac coolers are removed and the new HVAC coolers with actual chillers and natural gas cooling and heating are installed. They put a curb around there. That's the roofing side. All of those were approved by the board up to $3 million with the job order contract. We've got total quotes back from Progressive Roofing at $5,059,000. Highest is the high school, but even the high school was under the 3 million. So Progressive Roofing for the roofing side is done. Thank you for those motions on May 9th. Now we come to the mechanical side to actually increase the flow of natural gas into the buildings to hire most of them, I believe, are going to be 5 to 10 ton chill units that do 1 or more classrooms, and they've got the design all done for that. And they came in significantly higher in some cases than the 3 million we approved. So if we could approve these other additional limits, I've talked to the people that have the contract between us and Pueblo Mechanical. They're doing the mechanical and the HVAC installation, and there's no limit that anyone can see stopping us from increasing our approval of this contract. Like, we know if we did bids and we had the money, we could spend whatever we needed to just based on our money. Well, the good news is it's not our money. School Facilities Board has approved us to increase these limits. And you have the numbers in front of you. I think the high school is just over 7 million, territorial and the HMS are around 4 to 5 million, and Del Rio's a little bit less. But if you vote to approve those, then we get applications in with these new bids. Now, the bids aren't here yet, the quotes aren't here, but we do have a letter saying they will not exceed these amounts from Pueblo Mechanical. They've been doing this for 40 years. So when they do send in the formal proposals after they got all their subs together and all the final costs together, they will not exceed these amounts. So if you approve them, when you get the quotes in, you'll go onto the SFU website, apply for it, get it awarded, and then we'll bring those awards back to you so you know that the awards are going to be not to exceed any of these numbers. And then at that point, they'll start the work, and we project this work will be done, I'm saying, early next year, perhaps even by November this year. We just can't be sure yet. Lots of work to go to get these all done. But the state is on board to fund everything. We've had probably 60 discussions in the last 6 months with them and these 2 contractors that we procured their services from off this 1 GPA cooperative contract. So I believe if we do the same motions, get them on record, all the School Facilities Board wants us to do is locally approve spending their money for these approved projects, and then they'll fund it all.
I just want to make a quick comment that between the roofing and the HVAC, we're looking at almost $30 million.
Oh my God.
Finally getting good.
Close to
money out of
20,
school
yeah.
facilities.
Finally.
But that is
Yeah.
All these
amazing.
years.
I know.
I
Wow.
can't believe it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And we got a
Yeah.
new truck. Holy
I
cow.
suspect that was more than it cost to build these buildings when they were first built.
I don't
Out there,
doubt that.
remember?
Yeah.
So when we make these motions, because that seems to be my job lately, can I just read through them and we vote on each one of them, but can we continue? Since it's all basically the same, just different schools?
I believe that's what you did last time as
Yeah.
well.
I just
Okay.
The
announced
discussion's
it.
taken place already,
Okay.
and if there's any questions, now's the time to ask.
Okay.
But I think it's just read, approve, 4 times.
And I'm fairly certain, Mr. Livingston, that you did say this. There's no chance that the school board facility or the school facilities board is not going to
No.
okay the 7 million or the 30 million at this point.
They've had conversations, discussions, presentations, informational sessions. They've walked every room in all of our buildings. 2 people have been up here doing that from School Facilities Board. So they're aware this is the best interest design for the district, and they're prepared.
And just so in this update that you got, there was 109 million in additional funding for building renewal grants given to the SFB for fiscal year over the fiscal year 22 amount. So that leaves about $200 million in fiscal year 23 for them to spend. And so we're asking for, 10% of that.
We deserve it.
We do.
All right, so we could get a motion for item 8B, contract with Pueblo Mechanical for HVAC installations at CVHS.
I'm going to approve a contract with Pueblo Mechanical Services under award 1 GPA contract 18-16 PV-05, expiration date 05/17/2023 for installation of HVAC systems at Chino Valley High School, not to exceed 7.5 million per pending funding approval from the Arizona School Facilities Oversight Board.
A second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Quick question on item C, the one at HMS, down in the approval, it is a 5 million rather than the 7.5?
Mhm.
Is that correct? Okay,
Yeah, they're different. Every school is different,
okay.
slightly.
Just
Right.
making sure. Then I'll entertain a motion for that one then.
Okay. Approve a contract with Pueblo Mechanical Services under award 1 GPA contract 18-16 PV-05. Expiration date 05/17/2023 for installation of HVAC systems at Heritage Middle School not to exceed $5 million per pending funding approval from the Arizona School Facilities Oversight Board.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And then item 8D is contract with Pueblo Mechanical for HVAC installation at Del Rio Elementary School.
Approve a contract with Pueblo Mechanical Services under award 1 GPA contract 18-16 PV-05, expiration date 05/17/2023 for installation of HVAC system at Del Rio School not to exceed $4 million per pending funding approval from the Arizona School Facilities Oversight Board.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Last one, item 8E, contract with Pueblo Mechanical for HVAC installation
You
at
should start-
territorial
I should start with, this
area.
is a recording.
Approve a contract with Pueblo Mechanical Services under award 1 GPA contract 18-16 PV-05. Expiration date 05/17/2023 for installation of HVAC systems at Territorial Early Childhood Center not to exceed $5.5 million per pending funding approval from the Arizona School Facilities Oversight Board.
A second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have messed up all my pages. Could anyone tell me if there is an item?
There's no.
It's done.
item.
Aye.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Adjourned.
Everyone have a fantastic weekend.
Good job.
Now, we do have,
They know,
Signatures.
we have signatures.
Oh,
Do not,
Do not
okay. Okay, Peter, there's